So let me ask you something. If your own mother told everyone in your family that you were making the biggest mistake of your life, would you still want her at your wedding? Yeah, that's the question someone had to answer. And honestly, I'm still not sure what the right answer is. This story hit me hard. Really hard. Because it's about something so many of us struggle with. Family, loyalty, approval. And that moment when you realize that the person who's supposed to love you most might actually be the person hurting you the most. Before I get into this, I want you to think about your own family for a second. Think about the person whose opinion matters most to you. The person you've spent your whole life trying to make proud. Now imagine that person working against you. Quietly, consistently, behind your back. That's what happened here. And what this person did about it, half of the internet says she was justified, the other half says she went too far. Me, I'm somewhere in the middle, which is exactly why we need to talk about it. Here's the thing about weddings. They're supposed to be about love, about celebration, about two people starting their life together. But somehow, they always become about family, about expectations, about who gets to approve of your choices. And when those things clash, someone always gets hurt. So, let me tell you about Emily. Emily is 28 years old. She works as a marketing manager at a tech company in Portland. She's the kind of person who's always done everything right. Good grades in high school, scholarship to a good college, landed a solid job right after graduation. She's responsible. She's kind. She's the daughter every parent says they want. And she's been with Marcus for 4 years. Marcus is a high school teacher. He teaches history to 10th graders, and from what Emily says, he's one of those teachers kids actually remember. The kind who makes learning interesting, who stays after school to help struggling students, who coaches the debate team on weekends because he believes in it. He's also the kind of guy who makes $48,000 a year, which for a teacher is actually pretty decent, but for Emily's family, it's not enough. Emily comes from what she calls an upper-middle-class family. Her dad's a corporate lawyer. Her mom, Patricia, used to work in pharmaceutical sales, but retired early when the money got good. They live in a nice house in the suburbs. They vacation in Europe every other year. They're comfortable, and they have expectations. Expectations about who their daughter should marry. Now, Emily knew her parents weren't exactly thrilled about Marcus. She knew that. Her mom would make little comments. Nothing too obvious, just enough to sting. When Emily first introduced Marcus to her family 3 years ago, her mom smiled and was polite. But later, when they were alone, Patricia said, "He seems nice, very humble." The way she said humble felt like an insult. Over the years, there were more comments. Does Marcus have any plans to go back to school, get his master's maybe, or it must be hard for him, you making so much more than he does. Or I just want you to think about your future, honey. Teachers don't exactly have room for growth. Emily would defend him every time. She'd say, "He loves what he does, Mom. Not everyone measures success by money." And Patricia would smile and say, "Of course, honey, I'm just looking out for you." And Emily believed her. She believed her mom was just being protective. Overly concerned, maybe. But not malicious. Never malicious. Until 3 months ago. 3 months before the wedding Emily had been planning for a year. 3 months before the day she thought would be the happiest of her life. It was a family barbecue, one of those casual summer gatherings at Emily's aunt's house. The whole extended family was there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents. The kind of event where everyone brings a dish and the kids run around in the backyard while the adults drink beer and catch up. Emily was helping in the kitchen when her cousin Sarah pulled her aside. Sarah looked uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable. She kept glancing toward the door like she wasn't sure she should be saying anything. "Emily, I need to tell you something," Sarah said quietly. "It's about your mom." Emily felt her stomach drop. That instinct we all have when someone starts a sentence like that. You know it's going to be bad. "What about my mom?" Emily asked. Sarah took a deep breath. "She's been talking to people. About you and Marcus. About the wedding." Emily laughed. Of course her mom was talking about the wedding. Everyone was talking about the wedding. That's what people do. But Sarah wasn't smiling. No, Emily. I mean, she's been telling people you're making a huge mistake, that Marcus isn't good enough for you, that he's beneath your family, that you could do so much better. Emily felt the room tilt. What? My mom told me, Sarah continued. Your Aunt Linda. Apparently, your mom has been calling relatives for months, telling them that you're too in love to see clearly, that someone has to protect you from yourself, that she's worried you'll wake up in 5 years and realize you've wasted your life on someone with no ambition. Emily couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Aunt Linda tried to defend you, Sarah said. She told your mom that Marcus seems like a good guy, that you're happy. And your mom said. Sarah hesitated. What did she say? Emily's voice came out as a whisper. She said, she's too in love to see clearly. Someone has to protect her from herself. Emily stood there in her aunt's kitchen, surrounded by the sounds of family laughter from the backyard, and felt something inside her crack. Not break. Not yet. Just crack. Because this wasn't her mom being protective. This wasn't concern. This was sabotage. Quiet, calculated sabotage. For months. You know that feeling when you suddenly realize something's been happening right under your nose, when little moments you dismissed start connecting into a pattern. That's where Emily was. Standing at a barbecue, listening to her cousin and watching her entire relationship with her mother rearrange itself in her mind. Sarah put her hand on Emily's arm. I'm sorry. I thought you should know. Some of the family, they're starting to believe her. Starting to think maybe you are making a mistake. Emily nodded slowly. Who else knows about this? Who else has she talked to? Sarah looked down. I think most of the family, Emily. I'm sorry. And just like that, Emily's wedding went from a celebration to a battleground. A battleground she didn't even know she was fighting on. Emily spent the rest of the barbecue in a daze, watching her mother laugh with relatives, watching her hold court by the grill, a glass of wine in her hand, smiling like everything was fine, like she wasn't spending her time destroying her daughter's reputation behind her back. Emily left early, told everyone she wasn't feeling well. Which was true. She felt sick. Sick to her stomach, sick to her heart. That night, she sat Marcus down and told him everything. Every word Sarah had said, every comment her mom had made over the years, every subtle dig she'd brushed off as maternal worry. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I knew she didn't like me, but I didn't know it was that bad. You knew. Emily felt her chest tighten. Emily, your mom has never been warm to me. Never. She's polite, but it's the kind of polite that makes you feel like you're being tolerated, like you're taking up space you don't deserve. Emily realized Marcus had been swallowing his hurt for years. For her. Because he loved her. Because he didn't want to make things harder. And that made everything worse. This is where I feel for Emily. Because she's not just dealing with her mother's betrayal. She's dealing with the realization that her fiancé has been suffering in silence. That her attempt to bridge two parts of her life has been causing pain she didn't even see. Over the next week, Emily did something she'd never done before. She started investigating. She called other relatives. Casual calls. Hey, just checking in. How are you? How are the kids? And then carefully she'd steer the conversation toward the wedding. First, she called her grandmother. Her dad's mom. Sweet woman. Honest woman. Grandma, can I ask you something? Has Mom said anything to you about Marcus? There was a pause. A long pause. Oh, honey. Those two words told Emily everything. She's worried about you, her grandmother said carefully. She thinks maybe you're rushing into this. That maybe Marcus isn't the right fit for the family. The right fit for the family, Emily repeated. What does that mean? You know your mother. She has certain ideas about how things should be, about what success looks like. She just wants what's best for you. Did she tell you he's beneath us? Emily asked. Her voice was shaking now. Did she say that? Another pause. She's concerned about your future. About financial stability. About whether he can provide the life you're accustomed to. Emily thanked her grandmother and hung up. Strike one. Next, she called her Uncle Tom, her mom's brother. He'd always been kind to Marcus. Uncle Tom, be honest with me. Has Mom been talking to you about my wedding? Uncle Tom sighed. Emily, I don't want to get in the middle of this. That's not an answer. Your mom loves you. She wants the best for you. Sometimes parents see things kids don't see. I'm 28 years old. I'm not a kid. I know. Look, she's expressed some concerns, but that's what mothers do. They worry. What kind of concerns? Emily pressed. Uncle Tom was quiet. Then, she thinks Marcus is a nice guy, but maybe not ambitious enough. Maybe not driven enough. She's worried you'll end up carrying the financial burden, that you'll resent him eventually. Strike two. Finally, Emily called her Aunt Linda, Sarah's mom, the one who'd apparently tried to defend her. Aunt Linda, I need the truth. All of it. Aunt Linda didn't hesitate. Your mother has been on a campaign, Emily. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. She's been calling everyone, telling them Marcus isn't good enough, that he's using you for your money, that you're making a mistake. I told her to stop. I told her she was going to destroy her relationship with you, but she won't listen. What exactly has she been saying? Emily's hands were shaking. She said, Marcus has no ambition, that teachers are glorified babysitters, that you deserve someone who can match your success, someone from a good family, someone with prospects. Aunt Linda paused. Emily, I'm sorry. I should have told you sooner, but I didn't want to be the one to hurt you. How long has this been going on? Since you got engaged? Maybe even before. I'm not sure. Strike three. Emily hung up and sat on her couch staring at the wall. A year. Her mother had been sabotaging her relationship for at least a year, maybe longer, poisoning the family against Marcus, against her choice, against her happiness. Here's what kills me about this. Patricia genuinely believed she was being a good mother. In her mind, she was protecting her daughter from a mistake. She couldn't see that the only mistake being made was her own. That's the thing about toxic love. It feels like love to the person giving it. It just destroys the person receiving it. Emily tried to work, tried to focus on wedding planning, tried to pretend everything was normal, but she couldn't. Every time her phone rang, she wondered if it was another relative Patricia had gotten to. Every time she thought about the wedding, she imagined people whispering, judging, pitying her. Marcus noticed. Of course he noticed. You're not sleeping, he said one night. You're barely eating. Emily, talk to me. I don't know what to do, she admitted. My mom has been lying to everyone. About you. About us. And now half the family probably thinks I'm making a huge mistake. Maybe we should postpone the wedding, Marcus said quietly. Give you time to sort this out with your family. No. Emily's voice was sharp. Sharper than she'd intended. No, that's exactly what she wants. She wants us to doubt ourselves, to question this. I'm not giving her that, but doubt had already crept in. Not doubt about Marcus. Doubt about everything else. Her family, her mother, whether the people she'd loved her whole life actually had her back. 2 weeks after the barbecue, Emily decided to confront her mother. She drove to her parents' house. Her hands were sweating on the steering wheel. Her heart was pounding. This is the moment, isn't it? The moment when you finally stand up to someone who's been controlling you. When you finally say the things you've been too scared to say. It's terrifying, because once you say them, you can't take them back. Once you confront someone, the relationship changes forever. Emily walked into her childhood home. Her dad was in his office. Her mom was in the kitchen, making tea. Emily, honey, what a nice surprise, Patricia said, smiling. Emily didn't smile back. We need to talk. Patricia's smile faltered. About what? About what you've been saying to the family. About Marcus. About me. Patricia set down her teacup. Carefully. Deliberately. Who's been talking to you? Does it matter? Is it true? Have you been telling everyone I'm making a mistake? Patricia's face hardened. I'm your mother. It's my job to look out for you. That's not what I asked. Fine. Yes. I've expressed concerns to family members because I have concerns. Real concerns. You're about to marry a man who will never be able to provide for you the way you deserve. Provide for me. Emily's voice rose. Mom, I provide for myself. I have a good job. I make good money. I don't need Marcus to provide for me. That's not the point, Patricia snapped. The point is, you could do better. You could marry someone successful. Someone from a good family. Someone with ambition. Instead, you're settling for a high school teacher who will never amount to anything. There it was. The truth. No more subtle comments. No more concerned suggestions. Just brutal, ugly truth. Emily felt like she'd been slapped. Marcus is kind, Emily said, her voice shaking. He's compassionate. He makes me laugh. He supports my dreams. He loves me. Isn't that enough? Love doesn't pay the bills, Patricia said. Love doesn't put kids through college. Love doesn't give you the life you've worked for. I don't care about any of that. You will. In 5 years, when you're stressed about money, when you're working 60 hours a week while he's home grading papers, when you realize you've trapped yourself with someone beneath your station, you'll care then. Beneath your station. Like they lived in some kind of Victorian novel. Like Marcus was a servant who dared to fall in love above his class. Emily's dad appeared in the doorway. Patricia, that's enough. No. Patricia turned to him. No, it's not enough. Someone has to tell her the truth. Someone has to protect her from herself. Emily looked at her father. Did you know about what she's been doing? Her dad shifted uncomfortably. Your mother has expressed concerns. Did you know she's been calling everyone in the family, telling them Marcus isn't good enough, trying to turn them against him? Her dad looked at Patricia, then at Emily. I thought she was just venting. Just venting? Emily repeated. She's been sabotaging my wedding, and you thought she was just venting. Her dad said nothing. And his silence said everything. Emily realized in that moment that she was alone in this. Her fiancé supported her, but her family of origin didn't. The people who were supposed to love her unconditionally had conditions, and Marcus didn't meet them. I'm marrying him, Emily said. Whether you approve or not, I'm marrying Marcus. Patricia crossed her arms. Then you're making a mistake you'll regret for the rest of your life. Maybe, Emily said. But it's my mistake to make. She turned to leave. Her hand was on the door when Patricia spoke again. Emily, if you do this, you're going to lose things. People will take sides. The family will be divided. Is he really worth that? Emily turned back. Yes, he is. The question is, am I worth that to you? She didn't wait for an answer. She already knew it. Emily drove home in tears. She called Marcus from the car. It was worse than I thought, she said. Mom doesn't just disapprove. She actively hates that I'm marrying you. She thinks you're beneath us. She said it to my face. I'm so sorry, Marcus said. And Emily could hear in his voice that he meant it. That he felt guilty. Like any of this was his fault. This isn't on you, Emily said. This is about her her need to control everything, about her inability to accept that I'm an adult who can make my own choices. But Emily knew something had to give. The wedding was 10 weeks away. Invitations had been sent. The venue was booked. The dress was altered. Everything was ready. Except her family was at war. Over the next few days, Emily thought about what to do. She talked to Marcus. She talked to her best friend. She even talked to a therapist she'd been seeing on and off for years. And she kept coming back to one question. If her mother came to the wedding, what would that look like? Would Patricia smile and pretend everything was fine? Would she stand up during the ceremony and object? Would she spend the reception telling guests that Emily was making a mistake? Could Emily stand at the altar, looking at Marcus, promising to spend her life with him while her mother sat in the front row, radiating disapproval? The answer was no. She couldn't. Here's what's interesting about this moment. Emily wasn't acting out of anger. She was acting out of self-preservation. There's a difference. Anger is reactive, it's explosive. It burns hot and fast, but self-preservation, that's calculated. That's a decision made from a place of clarity. A decision to protect yourself even when it hurts. 8 weeks before the wedding, Emily sent her mother a text message. She didn't call, she didn't meet in person. She sent a text because she knew if she heard her mother's voice, she might back down. The message said, "Mom, I've thought a lot about what you said, about what you've been saying to the family, and I've made a decision. I can't have someone at my wedding who doesn't support my marriage. I can't stand at the altar knowing you think I'm making a mistake, so I'm uninviting you. You're not welcome at my wedding. When you're ready to respect my choice and my husband, we can talk. Until then, I need space." She hit send before she could change her mind. 3 minutes later, her phone rang. "Patricia." Emily didn't answer. Her phone rang again, and again, and again. Finally, a voicemail. Patricia's voice was tight, controlled. "Emily, you're not uninviting your own mother from your wedding. Don't be ridiculous. We'll talk about this when you've calmed down." But Emily wasn't going to calm down, because this wasn't about being emotional. This was about being done. The next day, her father called. "Emily, your mother is devastated." "Good," Emily said. "Now she knows how I feel. She's your mother. You can't uninvite your mother from your wedding." "I just did." "Emily, please, think about what you're doing. This will damage your relationship with her permanently. Is that really what you want?" "Dad, she's spent a year telling everyone I'm making a mistake. She's tried to turn the entire family against Marcus. She told me to my face that he's beneath us. What relationship is there left to damage?" Her dad was quiet. "She loves you. In her own way, she loves you." "Love doesn't look like this," Emily said. "Love doesn't sabotage. Love doesn't undermine. Love doesn't make you feel like you have to choose between your family and your happiness." "What do you want me to do?" her dad asked. "I want you to support me. I want you to tell Mom she's wrong. I want you to stand up for me. Emily, you're asking me to choose between my wife and my daughter." "No," Emily said. "I'm asking you to do the right thing. But if you can't, then I guess I know where you stand." Her dad sighed. "I'll talk to her." But Emily knew he wouldn't. Her father had spent 35 years avoiding conflict with her mother. He wasn't going to start now. Within 48 hours, the entire family knew. Emily had uninvited her mother from the wedding, and people had opinions. Strong opinions. Emily's grandmother called crying, "How can you do this to your mother? She gave you life. She raised you. You owe her respect." "Respect goes both ways," Emily said, "and she hasn't respected me at all." Her Uncle Tom sent a long email about family loyalty, about forgiveness, about how parents make mistakes, but they deserve grace. Aunt Linda, on the other hand, sent a text that said, "I'm proud of you." This took courage. The family split down the middle. Some sided with Patricia, some sided with Emily. Some tried to stay neutral, which ended up feeling like siding with Patricia by default. Marcus's family was confused. They'd always been kind to Emily, welcoming. They couldn't understand why her family was so opposed to him. "Is it because I'm not rich?" Marcus's mom asked Emily one day. "Because we're working class." "I think that's part of it," Emily admitted. "My mom has very specific ideas about success and class and what matters." "That's terrible," Marcus's mom said. "You love each other, that's what matters." Emily hugged her future mother-in-law and thought about how ironic it was. The family that should have welcomed Marcus didn't. And the family that could have judged Emily for her privilege didn't. 6 weeks before the wedding, Patricia showed up at Emily's apartment. Unannounced. Her father was with her. Emily opened the door, and her stomach dropped. "We need to talk," Patricia said. Emily didn't want to let them in, but she did. Because part of her, the part that was still that little girl seeking her mother's approval, hoped this was an apology. It wasn't. They sat in Emily's living room. Marcus was at work. It was just the three of them. "Emily, I'm giving you one more chance to fix this," Patricia said. "Re-invite me to the wedding. Apologize for this disrespect, and we'll move forward." Emily stared at her mother. "You want me to apologize to you?" "Yes. You've been cruel. You've been manipulative. You've hurt me deeply." I had to pause when I read this part. Because can you imagine being so sure your child will fold that you show up demanding an apology? Can you imagine that level of entitlement? "Mom, you spent a year telling everyone I'm making a mistake. You called my fiancé unambitious. You said he's beneath us. You tried to destroy my happiness. And you want me to apologize? I'm your mother. I was looking out for you. No, you were controlling me. There's a difference. If you don't re-invite me, our relationship will never recover," Patricia said. Her voice was calm, cold. "You'll regret this for the rest of your life." Emily's father finally spoke. "Patricia, stop." Patricia turned to him, shocked. "What?" "Stop. She's right. You're not looking out for her. You're trying to control her. I'm trying to protect her from making a mistake." "No," Emily's father said quietly. "You're trying to protect yourself from embarrassment. You're worried what people will think, what they'll say about our daughter marrying a teacher. It's not about Emily. It's about you." Patricia stood up. "I can't believe you're siding with her. I'm not siding with anyone. I'm stating a fact. Marcus is a good man. Emily loves him. He treats her well. That should be enough. But it's not enough for you. Because he doesn't meet your standards. Your arbitrary, elitist standards." Emily felt tears streaming down her face. Her father had finally spoken up. Years too late. But he'd spoken up. Patricia grabbed her purse. "Fine. If that's how you both feel, then I'll leave. But Emily, if you do this, if you go through with this wedding without me, you're choosing him over your family. Over me. And I won't forget that." "Then, I guess I'm choosing him," Emily said, "because he's never made me feel like I have to earn his love. He's never made me feel like I'm not enough. He's never tried to sabotage my happiness. So yeah, Mom, I'm choosing him. Not because I don't love you, but because I finally love myself more." Patricia left. The door slammed behind her. Emily's father stayed. "I'm sorry," he said. "I should have said something sooner. I should have stood up for you. For Marcus. I was a coward." "Are you coming to the wedding?" Emily asked. Her father looked at the door, at the space where his wife had been. "I don't know. If I do, she'll be furious. She'll make my life hell." "I know," Emily said, "but I'm asking anyway." Her father hugged her. "I'll think about it." The wedding was 4 weeks away. Emily's father didn't come to the wedding. He called 2 days before and said, "I can't. I'm sorry. I wish I was braver. But I can't." Emily cried, but she wasn't surprised. On her wedding day, Emily stood in a small room at the venue, looking at herself in the mirror. Her best friend was there, Marcus's sister. A few close friends. Her grandmother had come. Aunt Linda had come. A handful of cousins had come. But the front row where her parents should have been sitting was empty. "Are you okay?" her best friend asked. Emily took a deep breath. "Yeah, I think I am." And here's the thing. She was okay. Because when she walked down that aisle, when she saw Marcus waiting for her tears in his eyes, she didn't feel like something was missing. She felt free. The people at that wedding were there because they truly supported them. Not because of obligation, not because of family pressure, but because they believed in Emily and Marcus. The wedding was beautiful. Smaller than planned, but more genuine. Emily didn't cry about her mother's absence during the ceremony. She cried when she said her vows, when Marcus told her she was his whole world, when they danced to their song and she realized she'd chosen right. This is it. This is the moment that matters. Not the wedding. This. When Emily chose her own happiness over her mother's approval. When she finally understood that love shouldn't cost you your self-respect. I'm not going to lie. Listening to this made me emotional. Because how many of us have wanted to say exactly that to someone in our lives? 6 months after the wedding, Patricia still hasn't apologized. She tells people Emily cut her off for no reason. Some family members believe her, some don't. The family remains divided. Emily's father sends occasional texts, asking how she is, trying to mediate, but he never acknowledges that his wife was wrong, never stands up for Emily in any meaningful way. Emily has made peace with it, sort of. She's grieving. Not for the mother she has, but for the mother she wished she had. The mother who would have been happy just to see her happy. The mother who would have held Marcus's hand and said, "Welcome to the family." The mother who would have danced with her at the wedding and told her she looked beautiful. Emily and Marcus are happy. Really happy. They've started couples therapy, not because they're struggling, but because they want to break generational patterns. Emily is learning what healthy family looks like, what healthy boundaries look like. She's learning that it's okay to protect herself, even from the people who gave her life. So was Emily wrong? Half of Reddit said yes, half said no, and honestly, I think both sides have a point, because here's what I keep coming back to. Emily didn't uninvite her mother as punishment. She did it as protection, protection for herself, protection for her marriage, protection for the life she's choosing to build. Was it harsh, maybe? Was it necessary? I think so. Because sometimes the people who love us the most are the ones who hurt us the deepest, and sometimes the only way to stop the hurt is to step back, even when stepping back means stepping away from family. I don't know if Patricia will ever understand what she lost. I don't know if she'll ever realize that her need for control cost her a relationship with her daughter. I don't know if Emily's father will ever find the courage to stand up to his wife. What I do know is this. Emily wakes up every morning next to someone who loves her for exactly who she is, someone who doesn't try to change her or control her or make her into something she's not, someone who supports her dreams instead of sabotaging them. And Patricia wakes up every morning believing she was right, that she was justified, that she was the victim in all of this, the truth. They're both living with the consequences of their choices. Emily chose herself. Patricia chose pride. And in the end, only one of them seems to have found peace. So what do you think was Emily wrong? To uninvite her mother? Should family loyalty override everything else? Is there ever a right time to cut off a parent? I don't have easy answers. I just know that sometimes protecting yourself means accepting painful losses. Sometimes loving someone means loving them from a distance. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is choose the life you want, even when everyone else thinks you're wrong. Emily chose herself, and I hope wherever she is, she doesn't regret it.